Hello everyone and welcome this week to Parashat Miketz. Early in the parasha we see of course that Paro has dreams about the cows, the 7 skinny cows, the 7 fat cows. He has a double dream, and we know of course that he calls Yosef HaTzadik from the pit through the suggestion of the Sarhabat Tabachim, or the butler, because we saw last week in Parashat Vayeshev that the butler was in prison with Yosef, and of course we also know that Yosef interpreted the dreams for the butler and for the baker, and both came true. So the butler in this week's parasha suggests to Paro to bring Yosef from the pit to translate and explain his dreams. How is it though, at what point, what was the tipping point, so to speak, that was the beginning of the story of the Geula, that Yosef would be brought out of prison, that Yosef would interpret the dreams, that he would become the Mishneh Lemelech, the second in command, or the viceroy of Egypt, that eventually led to the next stage of the entire narrative of the Torah? What was the turning point? So if we look actually in last week's parasha, we see that both the baker and the butler had their dreams, and then the next morning it says in the pasuk, Vayavo alehem Yosef, Baboker, Yosef came to them in the morning, Vayar otam, and he saw them, V'hinei zo'afim, they were upset. And he asked them, like, what's wrong? What's going on? And they, of course, then tell them the dreams of what happened, and Yosef interprets them, and the story continues. The turning point is when Yosef noticed that both the butler and the baker were feeling down. Something was wrong, and he took the moment to see and to feel their pain, to ask them, what's wrong? Let's talk about it. When somebody reaches out to another individual and tries to have some form of empathy, some form of help that he wishes to give to that other individual, so many things can change in life. Instead of just passing by and not even taking into consideration how someone is feeling, when you may in fact notice your coworker, a spouse, a child, that someone is looking down, looking a little, something's happening, when you say, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? Big things can happen, as we see in the entire narrative of Yosef HaTzadik and the rest of the narrative of Parshat of Sefer Breshit. Shabbat Shalom.